So,
Hello, good
okay,
morning, Azfar. Thank you for joining me. For the purpose of
welcome.
our audience, I would like to introduce you. So, Muhammad Azfar is our class fellow from Rawalpindi Medical College, graduated in 1999 2000 class, and currently working as medical director, consultant medical oncologist at Prince Faisal Cancer Center. So, Azfar, thank you for joining us. Uh,
Thank you for inviting me for the interview. So, it's been time. I saw you personally, probably about many years back in 2004, I think in Holy Family Hospital, the last time we met, or we met after that.
Yeah, as far you have a good memory. I remember conversations over the phone, but you
Yeah.
have better memory than me. I don't remember the Holy Family, but
Okay.
that's good.
So, that was, I think, way back in 2004. I think we
Oh, I
got to,
remember. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember. You were my.
because
I started as a FCPS trainee, and you were the registrar there, right? You were my senior,
I was the
actually.
yeah, I was the registrar in medicine. So actually, during the college stay, we did not have much interaction with each other, and it was during that stay in Holy Family that we became friends. That
I
I can
agree with you. Now I
from
recall.
that
Yeah.
day onwards, we were in constant touch, probably at least twice a yearly or yearly.
I
We were
agree with
in
you.
touch.
Asfar, and you brought a good point of our being in the class and not being able to connect
Yeah.
on a personal level, because I think our class size is too big. For me to personally connect to people, I want a close interaction, and that's the reason I am trying to create this environment that we can talk to each other, and I get to know you more on a personal level. So thank
Yeah.
you for taking the
Actually,
time.
what I feel is, as a part of FCPS trainee initially, I got to know many classes which were junior to me, and we had because I know almost all of my junior classes, like who were 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year junior to me, and they are. We have a group in PIMS, we have a group in Shokat Khanam, we have a group of Holy Family Hospital on WhatsApp. So we know personally each other. But our class was kind of, they were afraid to talk to each other. Uh, it was it was not like other classes or other sessions in Rawalpindi Medical Colleges. So it's a, I should congratulate you on this initiative. So we get to know more of each other and have a better connection and.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think this is our second chance to reconnect with each other, to know each
Yeah,
other personally, and value each other's friendship.
yeah.
Okay, so if you are okay with me going down the list of questions, I would like to ask you first question: why did you choose to become a doctor? And if you can share a personal or a family reason with us, that would be great.
Back there in 1990s, like 91, 92, there were only two professions, doctors or engineers. My father was an engineer, so I thought I would opt for medicine. So I got admission in Sir Syed College, on Mall Road.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you get admission in Sir Syed College, Mall Road, so pretty much like 80 to 90% of chance you get admission into medical college. So I was lucky I got admission over there, and
You
I
have
again
you
got
have been a
lucky
great
to
addition to
be
this
admitted in
profession.
Rothbury Medical College. But well, there was never a thought process behind it. It just like when you are in flow, uh,
Maybe you are
everybody
very
around you is
smart.
doing medicine. Yeah.
Maybe you are very intelligent and smart kid in the class, and maybe that everyone
No,
tells you if
yeah.
you're smart, you should become a
Everybody
doctor.
knows me. I'm not a smart kid. Smart kids are separate. They were, I think, from first to 50. We were never in. I'm talking about myself. I was never in first to 50. First 50 students. I was after 50 students. Maybe after 100. So not a
Well, we know
smart kid.
you are
A
a
lucky guy.
very kind and modest person. So we'll move on to the next question. So give us a little bit of journey. My question has two parts. So what specialty are you working right now? And share a personal journey to come to this stage.
Yeah, yeah. That's very interesting. And after graduation from medical college, we were in third year, I think, and there was one of our teachers, Sayyid Imtiaz Ali, if you remember, he was an eye surgeon. So everybody by that time, they were confused in our class. What we will do? Our seniors are not getting any jobs. There is no public service commission. So we should select a specialty which is rare, and there would be, options in that specialty. So I was discussing this idea with Dr. Imtiaz, and what he said to me was, it changed my life. He said, do as for what you like. If you excel in that specialty, you will be there for everybody to choose. So he said he chose I, and when he came back from UK, he got job in 5 different places. So he chose Holy Family and he started working over there. So that was my first, mentor advice from anybody. So after doing MBBS, like everybody else, except for those who were planning to go to States, we did our house job in surgery and medicine. I did my surgery and medicine in district headquarter hospital in Rawalpindi because my merit was not like I would go to Holy Family or RGH. So anyway, we enjoyed 1 year over there, and after doing that, uh, I thought whether to go for surgery or medicine. You see how confused we were. Like when I was about to submit my form in surgery or medicine, at the last moment at the door of CPSP, I submitted in medicine. The,
Wow.
and,
Yeah.
and then I submitted in medicine, and Alhamdulillah, I passed FCPS part 1. And after that, I said, I worked in DHQ. So Holy Family was kind of like, a Mayo Clinic at that
Upgrade.
time.
Yeah. It was an upgrade.
It
Yep.
was Professor Naseemullah and Dr. Umar and hi-fi
Yeah.
classes, hi-fi class boys in our class like Shakil Akhtar or Farah Naz, who were toppers. They would go in Holy Family and we would be in DHQ. So I wanted to taste Holy Family. Anyway, I went there and I met, I would not name 2 associate professors. I met them. He said, why you are choosing medicine? Nobody, now this last train of success, we were on that success. So you go and do something else. It
Wow.
is saturated and you should not attempt medicine. I said, okay. Then I went to Professor Naseemullah's office. He said, Naseemullah was maybe you met him in Holy
I
Family or
remember.
not,
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
but he was a different person. You cannot say like, his medicine was top notch or something, but as a personality, uh, I did not find any person who was close to Professor Naseemullah. I
Yeah.
have worked many places. The way he, accommodated all people or all
Very
students from
composed.
diverse
And
background,
yeah.
somebody from Rawalakot to from somebody to Saint. Yes, for example, if you go to Services Hospital in Lahore, you will find this one professor. He's a crazy man. Unfortunately, he died last year. His name was like, I think something Masood or something like that. So he would, before joining for PGship, he would take a test. He will listen for experts, excerpts from Harrison or Davidson. Give.
Wow.
So if you want these kind of people, and where the other will go. So anyway, I got in Holy Family Hospital. Initial 1 or 2 months were very tough because they were not very accommodative. But anyway, then suddenly all of them completed their training and only me and Aisha Sheikh were left. If you remember Aisha Sheikh, she was 2 years senior to us. She was
Yeah.
a very nice lady. And Professor Naseemullah and Sayyid Irfan Ahmed, we were there like a family. And there were a lot of things like, and I cannot share some details here, but there was one lecture that he told me to give, and I prepared that lecture and I gave. It was not on medicine, on some ethic, something outside medicine.
Hmm.
But after that, he really got impressed. He got impressed by me. So I was like his son, and then he would share everything with me. And
Yeah.
from
I
that on,
remember when I was in his unit with you, he really admired, your dedication and your compassion for the patients. So
so he then the topic came up like after medicine there are many subspecialties. So Professor Naseemullah said to me, and I still remember his words. He said, Asfar, don't think about money. Money is coming from somewhere else. You want you cannot imagine from where it will come. It has some other
Channel.
so, so you just focus on serving the people and uh, accommodating and be just lenient to your juniors and be a good person. So, and he said to me once, like, every person that should meet you should feel happy after meeting you. This should be the definition of you. So these were some of his advice to us. Anyway, he got retired. Then Professor Masood Qureshi came, and after that Dr. Iram Shakir Kiani came. I think you were there in the time when Dr. Iram Shakir Kiani was
I
supervisor,
remember her. Yeah.
and Masood Qureshi, yes.
Yeah.
So after that, you know uh, this Professor Naseemullah, Professor Masood Qureshi left, and also Dr. Iram Shakir Kiani left. So I had to go to Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, where I did my subspecialty with Dr. Nikhil Bilal. Anyway, I passed my FCPS medicine, and then after FCPS medicine, I was just looking for one job, and I went to Shifa International Hospital. I got a job of senior registrar over there.
What year
So
was that when you completed FCPS?
yeah, 2005. It was 2005.
2005. Okay.
Yeah. So I went to Shifa International Hospital. There were at that time there were not many FCPS medicines, so the market was open. I went to Holy Family. I got a job, Foji Foundation, and then Shifa International. I got a job. So I opted for Shifa International Hospital primarily because Osama was there, and Osama was not a close friend in medical college but during Shifa we worked for 1 year together, and we became very close friend along with. There was one of our colleague, Bushra Khizer. I still remember she's in UK working as I think in geriatrics or something like that in Nottingham.
Interesting. Interesting.
So during our stay in Shifa International, Osama said to me, Asfar, I don't want to discourage anybody, but he said, look what we are doing. If a person has cardiological problem, we are referring to cardiology. If a person has, gastric problem, we are referring to gastroenterology. We are merely postmen. So what we are doing, this hospitalist stuff that
Yeah.
so that got stuck into my mind. And there was one guy I would like to share his name because he was instrumental in building my career. His name is Mubin Iqbal. Probably you know him or not. He's a pulmonologist. He was a pulmonologist in Shifa. Probably he's still working over there.
Okay.
I did not have a contact with him for a long time. So after FCPS, you when you're freshly graduate, you know everything, Davidson, Kumar on your fingertips. Then he would come to the round and discuss. He said, this Harrison is wrong. There is evidence-based medicine. So I got really offended. What do you mean by this Harrison is wrong? So there used to be one registrar, if you remember, Usma Bano. She was 2 years senior to me, senior to us.
Okay. Okay.
Aisha Sheikh and Usma Bano. Probably because you went to States, you cannot
Yeah, I may have like
remember
seen
her.
her.
But Usma Bano, she's currently a professor of medicine in Koji Foundation Hospital.
Okay.
And she practices, I think, nephrology. She's a nephrologist along with, she practices internal medicine. Anyway, what Usma Bano used to do each week, she would like go through the whole Harrison. Like it was her
Wow.
routine. Like people go through Quran, whole Ramadan, she would go through Harrison. And I was in Shifa, and this guy is saying, it is biased and you should not read Harrison. So I said,
Yeah.
I don't want to say the name. What is this guy? So I said, he's intentionally trying to
Discourage you to
discourage us.
learn and yeah, and improve upon your knowledge base. Yeah.
Yeah. Then what he said, actually, he was trying to teach in another way,
Yeah.
going to. So then he arranged, we were part of medicine department. So we had a collaboration with McMaster University in Canada. There is a professor of medicine. His name is Gordon Guide. If you might have heard about him, if you will Google him, you will find, he's called father of evidence-based medicine. So at that time, things were good. Economy was going. Musharraf was in power, and many foreigners used to come to Pakistan. So he used to make regular visits to Shifa International Hospital, especially to our medicine department,
And
and
what
deliver
was his
lectures on evidence
specialty?
based.
You mentioned
Yeah.
something. What was his specialty? You said he was known for.
Yeah, he's a professor of medicine, and he was a pulmonologist. He's a pulmonologist in profession, but the mainly he's like one of the editors of Up to Date.
Okay.
He's the one who coined the term evidence-based medicine.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
and there was one survey which was done, I think, in previous century. Like one of the 10 best things that happened to medicine was evidence-based medicine, and it was far ahead of computer-based notes. And you can if you have a laptop, you can see his name. So he used to come to us. Then we came to know what is evidence-based medicine. After that, learning something about evidence-based medicine, came to me. Osama said to me, "Look, I've got a fellowship, I think, in endocrinology from Aachen, so I'm leaving. So you should also go somewhere." Then we discussed, and we thought, like, hematology and oncology would be good for me. And luckily, in the same time, Shogat Khanum opened its fellowship for hematology oncology, and they needed an FCPS medicine. So they could not find anybody in Lahore or somebody who wanted to, because oncology has a very bad name. Even I met Tariq Abdullah last in about 3-4 years back. He said, "Don't you get depressed practicing oncology? All of your patients die." So they have a this
Very
mindset is
difficulty recruiting
engraved in
people.
because even you can see this. I remember one day one patient had a he was diagnosed with seminoma in Holy Family Hospital.
Huh.
And seminoma is 99 or 95%, it's a curable malignancy. You need to probably after surgery, you need to give only 1 or 2 cycles of carboplatin, a patient is cured. Maybe in 10,000 rupees, you can cure a patient for life. And Masood Qureshi would say, no need to investigate him. He is a metastatic disease. He has retroperitoneal lymph nodes. So people do not have idea about this oncology and malignant hematology. So um,
Well,
that. So my
that shows courage on your part to go
yeah.
into that field. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I wanted to emphasize was when I went for interview in Shogat Khanum Hospital, I was the only candidate. So I got selected. And why I was along with Khwaja Farhan, he's currently in UK. He's a consultant in oncology. So anyway, so we were two fellows, and Shokat Khanum was in love with because they had only two fellows. So there were huge number of patients, two trainees, lot of consultants, lot of residents. Residents were non-training posts, like they would come to
Yeah.
medical officer, like they would be
Fellows.
prepared for USMLE, and they would go to state. It's like an interim, like in Islamabad, Pindi, it's Shifa International, like an interim station for doctors. Similarly, in Lahore, it's Shokat Khanum. You go there, earn some money, and then you go to states or some for further. Anyway, we did our 3 years training, and we had signed a contract that after finishing training, we would work there as it for 3 years further as a locum consultant. After finishing training, uh, I there because there were a lot of politics and something like that. They removed this. They didn't want us to work as a locum consultant anymore. So I decided I will go back to Pindi, Islamabad, and something. So I was doing some grocery shopping with my wife, and I had only. One telephone came to me, like one call came to me. Somebody said, there is a team from Saudi Arabia. They're looking for an oncologist. If you are interested, why don't you pay a visit? I said, oh, I'm busy in grocery shopping. So he said, just come for 10 minutes. I asked my wife, just, buy whatever you want. I'm coming in 10-15 minutes. So I went to this Pearl Continental Lahore, Mall Road. So there
Wow.
I saw a team of Saudi doctors. They said, we need uh, oncologist, and they did some interview, and they just handed me contract
On the spot.
on the spot.
Wow.
So then I I went back and I told my wife, I got a job. So we were thinking of going back to Pindi, and suddenly we have a job and sell a lot of money. If you compare to this Saudi Riyal and as compared to Pak rupees, it was a lot of money. I talked to my mother. She was not very enthusiastic. She said, "No, you are going to leave the country." And so anyway, I said, "Okay, it's probably going to be for 1 year. Let me, get some money, and I'll come back." So then I landed in Bureda 10 years back. And after landing in Bureda, actually, they gave me a job as a consultant in medical oncology, but they said that you will work as an assistant consultant for 1 month and we'll assess you. If you are okay, then we'll promote you. But your salary will be of a consultant. So anyway, I joined there after 1 month. The CEO called me in his office. He said, we have evaluated you. The patients are happy, and many of the patients have recommended that please don't let this doctor get away. Let him stay. Make him stay in Saudi Arabia. So they gave me and this
Oh,
one.
wow. That's
Uh, they promoted me as a consultant. Then the problem was, Saudi council. You can be promoted as a consultant in your hospital, but you cannot be promoted as a consultant unless the Saudi council they rectify you. I think I'm taking too much time or what?
you're
Just I'll
good.
be
No, no. I have
yeah.
whole hour for you. Yeah,
Okay.
you share your interesting story with us, and I have some other
So
questions to go through, but please continue.
yeah, just I'll be very quick. Anyway, it took about a year. I did my Saudi board in oncology and hematology. And then I came back to Pakistan, gave FCPS medical oncology. So then I came back, and one of the guy who was actually a Pakistani, he said, he was studying for MRCP. He said to me, can you guide me for MRCP? I said, I don't MRCP because Osama always discouraged, never go for MRCP. It's not a good exam and for that. Anyway, he said, why don't you try? So just sitting on a computer, so we paid for MRCP fees and we went together. He was my resident. We both passed. Then we did. I did MRCP. So after that, so I have a lot of FCPS medicine, FCPS medical oncology, MRCP I learned, and then Saudi board in hematology oncology, and then
I, after listening to your story, it seems like God had a path for you. You just had to
yeah,
show up at a
that's
spot,
that's why
and the door will open.
yeah, door will open. And same way, because I did Irish MRCP, so I thought I would get my GMC registration. But they said, we do not recognize Irish MRCP. So I said, okay. I took 20 days off, went for PLAB and did PLAB also. Because, exam, all the exams, they are just, now I have come to know it's just, you have to modify yourself according to the exam. They're just, they do not test your knowledge. They do nothing. They just, so then I got my GMC registration, but still I am scared to go leave my city and go somewhere else.
Well, I think that people over there value you, and you probably this is the place that you will. And when it's time, you will see a door open in front of you, and it's been happening. Now, my next question is, in what you have shared is very interesting. Is there an event during your life in Saudi Arabia that changed you as a person, good or bad experience, that we can share from your personal life or patient encounter?
Yeah, like everywhere else, they are good and bad person, good and bad patients.
Yep.
So there are many experiences, and the first thing I learned from Professor Naseemullah was to be very uh, to be brave and to be bold about everything. That's why. And you have to know the crux of the society, the weakness of the society and what they are looking for. I got litigated about twice here in Saudi Arabia, and that was for some, but the hospital and supported me. And the even they did not because a lot of metastatic, there was one lady with metastatic CA breast. She was with me for probably 8 years. And after that, I told her, I don't have anything for you. And they said, her brother said, what do you mean anything for you? You must find out something. Anyway, but anyway, there were tough times and there were also good times. The Saudis have generally supported me in every way possible as can. And actually, they now Asfar is they by name they are, I'm patients are being referred to me, especially from Riyadh or all around the region. Just go to him for second advice. The second thing is, like, in our cancer center, we used to provide free treatment. Like, if you go to Riyadh, they would not provide free treatment to non-Saudis. So I said to my boss, look, uh, our deal is like, we will provide free treatment for our patients, for irrespective of all nationalities.
Yeah.
He agreed. He said, okay, as far you go ahead. So if you see like a non-Saudi, just admit him through ER and make it a life-saving thing, and administer full chemotherapy or whatever you want. I'll be at your back. So don't worry about that. So that was a big plus for me. And we treated, like, I'll give you one example. Probably it's relevant. One patient came from Bangladesh. She was actually a cleaner,
Hmm. A sanitary
and
worker.
the day, yeah, sanitary worker, the day she landed, she developed bleeding from her nose. She came to our ER and they found a platelet count of 5,000. So then the ER supervisor called me. He said, this is the patient. What should we do? I said, it's a life-threatening situation. We cannot discharge a patient with 5,000 counts. He said, she's not eligible. Her company cannot pay this the huge amount of cost that would be involved. Then I said, no problem. We'll admit and we'll see. Just we did bone marrow. It turned out to be acute leukemia. We gave this chemotherapy, whatever it is, Sample induction. After Sample induction, she went into remission. Then her company, guy, boss from the company came. He said, now it's about 150,000 Saudi Riyal. So who is going to pay for this? So I'm going to the court against you because you did treatment against our company policy or something like that. I said, do whatever you want, but I will not discharge this patient. So I gave another HIDAC consolidation, three consolidation again, and we kept her in the hospital for 6 months. Then the billing, I think it was about 400,000 Saudi Riyal, the bill that was, came. The company could not pay. So anyway, I said, okay, what can I do? You cannot cut my salary. She came in a year or something like that. So anyway, one fine day, this one royal directive came that all patients who have pending amounts will be paid by the government, and she went home. So she just came from Bangladesh, all the way from Bangladesh to Buraidah to get treated for her acute leukemia, and she went back. So you see,
Yeah.
that's how I understand God, how God is working. People say, he will find if somebody prays, or he will find a place for you to get treated and go back. So
It,
there's
it,
some
it takes
experience,
a
yes.
lot of character and courage, moral character and courage that you displayed, and I think it's not easy, especially in a country where you were not born. You don't
Yeah.
completely understand the language and the culture. I mean, now you are a wise person and you understand, but congratulations on taking that step, and may God continue to bless you. My next question is about is there anything unique and different skills you know as an oncologist that may make you different than others, other than your enormous amount of compassion that you offer to your patients?
Well, the problem,
It may be something that you share with your patients, the way that you think your style works for them. Anything other than as an
you
oncologist?
know, this, I will tell you this, you have, like, I don't believe in this traditional medicine, like traditional way of counseling, especially in our Asian population. For example, we had one oncologist from States visiting us, and one guy with ALL. Acute ALL means acute lymphoblastic leukemia. So he came to us and he said he doesn't want treatment because you have to be in the hospital. One day is chemotherapy, one day is intrathecal chemotherapy, one day is putting a portacath. It's very complex treatment for
Yeah.
ALL. So he refused. Then the lady said, if he's refusing, he's 18 years old. You cannot give him any treatment. That I said, okay, let him die. He said, that's his choice. I said, okay. Then I called the father because here the father takes majority of the decision, not like in the West. So he said, if you listen to this lady, this man is going, this your son is going to die. He said, Wallahi. I said, yes, because this is cancer. If you don't give chemotherapy, then the son said, I don't want chemotherapy. He said, shut your mouth. You will receive everything. so he, so the most he got just avascular necrosis, and now he's coming to me. He has hairs like this. He's a gangster. He has this
Yeah.
Harley Davidson, and he's thanking
You
me like
saved
he
a
did.
life by understanding the culture. That's smart.
Same like there is recently one guy Naveed. He came to me with ALL. He said, I want to meet my mother. I said, what you will do in Sialkot? There is nothing in Sialkot for you. You are going to hear. You are going to receive free treatment over here. He said, no, no. Then he started to cry. I said, I closed the door. I said, I'll slap you in the face. You just stay here. You will stay here and you will receive chemotherapy. There is no. He said,
That
my mother
is
will die. He said, your mother will die or not, but you will definitely die. Anyway, now
okay.
he's also in remission and he's my close friend.
When we
So,
have a rowdy patient, we'll send it to you.
yeah.
Because you can you can put them to straight path. Okay. What is the most professionally attractive feature of your current position? Most attractive feature. And in all honesty, it could be location, could be money, could be administrative power, whatever you like in this position.
Yeah, this position only two things: money and administrative power. Like I can do whatever I want, and
I had a
nobody is going
feeling,
to
yeah.
question me. So
What is the biggest hurdle or challenge you face every day that makes you feel like if I didn't have this problem, my life would be better? Is there anything you can think of?
this JCI filling of papers. You
Yeah.
spend 5 minutes with the patient, and you spend 45 minutes filling up the papers and putting notes on the computer.
So
So
your pain is same as most American doctors' pain is electronic medical records.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. What are your personal life and work balance challenges as an oncologist working in Saudi Arabia?
good thing about Saudi Arabia is like the work-life balance is really good. After 4 o'clock, if you are on call, you will receive calls. Otherwise, after four, you're literally free. If there is no corona outside, you can go wherever you want. But the limitation is limitation is where you will go. It's not like London. You will go and watch an opera or something like that. But you can go out, go to the malls, go to just to eat something
Shopping.
like that. Yeah, shopping.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Asfar, do you have any future goals in this career? You have achieved a lot already. You are, I can see you're an accomplished oncologist. Is there any future goal that maybe writing a book, maybe publishing more, anything?
Right now, my what I'm trying to do is to find some job or in Pakistan if possible, or to get settled in Pakistan because there is a need for oncologist over there, and my parents are getting old, so they need me. That's my only focus right now, and because now my son is 14 years old, so I want a good place for him to get education and to mix up with his. Here, he's mixing up with not. There are not many Pakistanis over here. Mostly like Egyptians, Bangladeshis, and Saudis. Other, so I want him to experience more of Pakistani and
Okay.
yes.
So
That's
that might be a career change in the future coming up if you find a good position. Um, I the stories of your patients that you have shared, I think you do it on a daily basis. One of my questions was, do you have any plans to help underprivileged people in your community or in back home? You have shared many stories that you have helped people in your community in Saudi Arabia. And you just mentioned that you want to go to Pakistan to help people. Um, have you participated in anything that has helped or will help people, underprivileged people in Pakistan?
yeah, that's one point. Going back to Pakistan to help your own people, because here we are helping people from different nationalities, but it's not like the same if you help in Pakistan. So I'm liaising with Dr. Faisal, Murad, and other people, like, if I can find a spot somewhere in Pakistan. So let's see, Yani,
Good, thank you
what
for
plan
sharing
is.
that. Now, do you have any interest in creating research papers or uh, training, or in your current job, do you train fellows or residents?
Actually, I'm one of the, you know, one of the. I'm not a program director, but I'm like a supervisor for internal medicine.
So you're a
People,
teaching faculty, part of the teaching faculty.
yeah, as a part of like uh, like residents from internal medicine, they come to me as a part of the rotation in hematology oncology, and they spend time with me. And it's in internal medicine, not in hematology oncology, because we are in the process of moving to a new 11-story tower over here for him, specific for hematology oncology. And after that, we plan to start our own indigenous residency program. The other issue is regarding research. What my theory is, in Pakistan, not in States and not in UK. You have people in Pakistan who are producing a lot of research papers, but they do not carry any value. If you go to Holy Family, if you look at Dr. Umar or something, they will have thousands there. If you look at the CV, you will have thousands of research papers, but they do not have any impact factor. They do not have any change in. They do not change the practice. I
Yeah,
was working in Shaukat Khanum Hospital. We did one study, and it was published in ASCO, and it was a game, not a game changer, but it was an alternative protocol.
impact.
And
Yep.
yeah, so people had a choice, and people are still quoting that study, and they are following that protocol. The problem is, if you want to do a study right now, the MD Anderson or Mayo Clinic, they won't let you uh, get a meaningful study. So I was talking with Dr. Farba, and if you remember, we had one senior, Dr. Faisal. He is
Yeah.
working in uh, uh, that's Cleveland Clinic in Ohio. So he's also into hematology oncology, and if you Google him, you will find, Yani, on Google Scholar, he will have like maybe 700 to 800 systematic reviews just by him.
Wow.
So I recommend to my class fellows, like doing a good quality study is almost like in Pakistani or setting, or where my hospital is. It's not, probably in your setting it would be more easier, but in my setting it's quite difficult getting this IRB approval and everything. And there is a lot of politics in
Right.
getting your name in the study, and this thing, and also this confidentiality of the data that is being practiced over here in Saudi Arabia. So my advice to my colleagues, especially class fellows, is like, go for systematic reviews,
Yeah.
learn how to do systematic review, learn this RevMed, and it is much easier, and it is much more. You can accomplish
Accomplish more
more,
and make a difference.
make a difference in research. So my plan is to, I learned RevMed, and but I again forgot. So during my this COVID, because there is a lot of time in the hospital during this COVID episode. So my plan is to learn to do systematic reviews again, and to probably publish one systematic review per year. That's all.
Wonderful.
Not not a big yani going for research, because my experience is, and and I thoroughly stand behind my experience. Like, in medicine there are three parts. So there are some teachers like Professor Nasimullah used to be a very good teacher. There are some very good clinicians. Probably you are a very good clinician. There are then some researchers. They are not very good teachers, and they are not very good clinicians. They are very good in doing research. For example, they'll be sitting next to you, and they will publish a research paper. Like, if you happen to know this, Shah Rukh Hashmi, you know him?
No.
He's a Pakistani working in Mayo Clinic. He does 3 months in Mayo Clinic and three months with us in King Faisal Specialist Hospital. So what he does is he's like that. He will be sitting with you. You are having just one cup of coffee or tea, and meanwhile he will write one article, like a review article about something. About something.
Ah,
He's such a genius. So he was head of transplant in Mayo Clinic. So the problem is but as a clinician, sometimes they fail to get their message across.
yeah,
So these three are totally different things. So I want to be a good clinician at the end, not a good
I
teacher.
agree
And
with you 100%. Thank you for sharing. You mentioned COVID-19. I'm going to ask you a question. It's a hypothetical situation. If you are the head of your hospital, or if you are the head of the WHO, and you are facing COVID-19, what one thing would you change for the future so that we don't get hit by a pandemic like this?
I will share with you one because I have experience with coronavirus. Probably nobody in the class has. Even our infectious disease consultants like Dr. Ghazala, or I don't think they would have experience with, because 4 years back, what happened was we were in we had like 7, 8 patients with acute leukemia admitted in our ward. And then suddenly, what happened was all of them developed pneumonia.
Develop pneumonia. Okay.
Yeah, pneumonia.
Hmm.
And within 24 to like within, I think, 48 hours, all of them died.
Wow.
So, we don't, this was, we don't have induction mortality, and we had this like 7, 8 patients. All of them died, and all of them developed pneumonia. And one of the doctor, he developed pneumonia and he died. So something suspicious was going on. So anyway, this all this public health, everybody was. Then same thing happened in
Investigating
Jeddah.
this. Yeah. Mhm.
Same thing happened in Jeddah, and same thing happened in National Guard Riyadh. All of the oncology patients, they had 100%.
Oncology patients. Okay.
Yeah. So, and renal failure and oncology patients. So they identified a virus which was later named Middle Eastern coronavirus,
Yeah.
MERS.
MERS.
MERS-CoV. So that was, since then we were extremely cautious, putting these protocols, and WHO and everybody was involved. And any patient coming to ER would have any suspicious of pneumonia, they would be isolated. They will have a swab for MERS-CoV, and they would be admitted in a separate negative pressure room. And then from, if the swab proved to be negative, then they would be shifted to our ward or something like that. So we had already procedures placed in place. So when we heard of COVID-19, even it was in China, so we had a email and everything, get ready. This thing is going to be like MERS-CoV. Probably it's not that deadly as MERS-CoV, but it's more infectious. So what we did in our hospital was we divided our teams into 4 teams. Like one is ER team, one is COVID-19 ward team, and one is taking care of clean oncology patients, and one is uh, yeah, these 3 teams. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's our
You guys took
protocol
it
in place.
head on, not like in United States where
No,
we.
because you did not have experienced with coronavirus. You
Yeah.
did not have experience. We already had this bad experience 4 years back, and all the hospitals, they suffered across the board. But it was limited to Saudi Arabia. They contained it, and it did not went out. So that was the reason. Our curve is very. It's not steep. It's just a flat curve. But we are worried that it will may become steep.
Interesting. I read a small CME on COVID-19, and they briefly mention about MERS and its origin from camels. And the COVID, the corona, the one that we are facing, and the one that was in Asia, SARS, they had the origin from bats.
Yeah. No,
Two
actually, all of them had origin from bat. Even this the
Okay.
MERS-CoV.
Okay.
Initially, it was found in some bat cave in Yemen. From there, it went to this camel, and there was one crazy guy. The number one, the first diagnosis that was made. Actually, it was discovered by one Egyptian virologist. He was working in Jeddah, so he identified this virus. it came like, this one guy, he was drinking, a different guy, he was drinking urine of camel for some medicinal properties or something like that. So
Yeah.
he developed this vomiting and renal failure and everything. And after that, they identified virus in him. He died. So it came from bat to camel and to humans.
Wow.
And same,
Okay.
I think, pathway from here in the SARS-2.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Now, a few lighter questions to just wrap up our sessions. What would you like to be if you were not a physician? Such an accomplished physician, what would you be? Like what you had thought of?
Wallahi, I don't know. I don't know what I would be, but previously, I
You were
don't know,
just
but
bought for this, huh?
always a physician is always like, my,
Okay.
maybe not
Before
a physician, maybe I would be a Hakim.
I give, okay. What would you recommend? Would you recommend your loved ones to become a physician, a doctor?
Obviously,
Obviously.
I would
Okay.
want my son to be a doctor. People always say, इसमें scope नहीं है, इसमें ये है, तो इसमें वो है. If you go back and look at your class fellows from FSC who did not go to medical college, very few of them had excelled in their lives. Like, probably everybody excels in life in some way or another. But I mean, they are you cannot compare the life that life to a life of a
You
physician's.
know, making a difference in someone's life versus your own life every day, that's the service that doctors do, healthcare providers do. So I agree with you. Now, do you ever dream to be a celebrity physician, like work for the royal family? You live in a country where there's royalties. Would you ever dream to be that?
There are a lot of pros and cons with that, so it's better not to,
Better not to
get
go there. Okay.
better to stay away. You
Yeah.
know, yeah,
Okay.
I prefer, like people from the lady who came from Bangladesh stayed with us for 6 months. I prefer to treat those people rather than to, they are. I just there's some problems with. You never know because they have they can become angry and
Ego
they
issue.
can lose their
Yeah.
temper,
Yep.
and they already have multiple advices from abroad. I'll narrate one small experience. Like there was one guy. He was a he was not from the royal family, but some other high rank individual. So he was about to go to meet Nawaz Sharif. So he was first about. He asked me about Islamabad. I said, go to Islamabad, definitely go to Monal, and go to Murray. And so after 1 week, he came with his wife. His wife was being treated for cancer, and he said he will take all his family with him. So I asked his wife, if you go to Islamabad, please go to Munal, and there is Murray. You must visit Murray and Athiya
Okay.
Gali.
Yeah. You.
And then he took me aside. He said, Asfar, this is my second wife. I'm taking my other wife.
That is so funny. Oh, yeah. Well, that could be a problem. Yeah. Okay. Well, what is your favorite destination for travel or vacation?
ah, Pindi and Istanbul.
Okay, wonderful. Istanbul is on my list of places to go, and I
You
did.
haven't been to Istanbul? Definitely, Istanbul is cheap and easy to travel. You have an American passport, so you can easily go there. Any American visa, UK or Schengen visa, you can get a visa in I think 3-4 seconds. Or
I've heard of it. It's on my list, and
yeah.
I've started traveling through Turkish airline when I go to Pakistan. So I think it will be soon that I'll be stopping over. Thanks for the advice. And what do you do to keep yourself in good mind and body state? That's my last question for you.
Yeah, this I've been going to gym for last 1 year, and it has been a game changer for me. But because of this COVID-19 going back to normal, that's you feel good after going to the gym.
Yeah,
That's it.
good, good. Thank you for sharing that. It's a simple but true advice. And I would tell you that I have the same feeling. And I've looked up some YouTube channels where they give me a 20-minute workout and I'll be happy to share with you, which are simple, and you just need a pair of dumbbells, or maybe a dumbbell bar. So don't give up your desire to do exercise. They'll keep you young. And Azfar, it was a pleasure catching up with you, and I look forward to do my second round of interviews once I'm done with all the volunteers that are in our class willing to be interviewed. So thank you, and
Thank you.
enjoy the rest of the Ramadan, and wish you good luck. बहुत मजा
Thank
आया आपसे बात करके.
thank you. Me too.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you.
stay online. I'll just pause the recording for a second, and then we'll just wrap up. Okay.
Okay.